Hi guys, it's Belle here and it is time for me to work on the next set of prompts in hashtag the Oddtober25 challenge hosted by Pink Oddbird and Release the Crafting. As always, their wonderful channels will be linked in the description box below. Do go and check them out. Honestly guys, you'll find so much inspiration on their channels. They are super talented creators. And before we get on to the prompts for today, I just want to show you yesterday's. Now, I made this on camera. It's a bit lighter so you can actually see properly today. But what I decided to do, because I wasn't overly happy with how the wax distress crayon worked, I actually used some embossing in vintage photo, embossing glaze in vintage photo on the metal to give like that rust effect, similar to how I'd actually used on the card itself. So I just wanted to show you that because I did that yesterday. So we've just pressed a load of buttons on the machine and 3 ghostly figures are coming towards us. Today I'm combining prompts 19 and 20 on this tag, and I'm having a little, I don't know, a little moment that's going to make me chuckle, this tag. So we'll see how you guys react to it. Day 19, prompt 19. It's my relative, my nemesis, and the witch. They have a message for me. In haunting unison they say, "Save us from this house. Please set us free." I pick up my jaw off the floor. So that's day 20, is that I pick my jaw up off the floor. Now, so you can see that these guys, my relative, the smiling man, the witch in the woods, there's even some branches. So they're the 3 spirits, they're the 3 ghosties. And today we're just going to do a little bit of decorating, some inking, and yes, I'm going to do something that's going to make me chuckle. So I want to start. We've got some Tim Holtz backdrop. I absolutely love this. It's like this bluey green and black. So I want some of this. I'm going to cut that to size first. Actually, I need my big paper trimmer to do this with. So when I saw the prompt picked my jaw up off the floor, I was like, how am I going to do that? How am I going to replicate that on this piece? And then I remembered there is a die set that I picked up last year, maybe. Might even have been the year before, in all honesty. Yeah, but I picked this die set up then, and I haven't really used it. In fact, I hadn't used it at all, guys. I hadn't even opened it because it's not my usual kind of die that I would work with on small projects. But I remember it being really reduced and thinking, well, I can't pass that up. It's a Tim Holtz die. It's Halloweeny and it's reduced. Like, I literally can't pass that up. So I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to do it with this. And it makes me chuckle to think about it. Now, what I'm thinking is that I might want this to be at some part, like ripped and torn, the way I've been using book pages. But I want to use, this is also a Tim Holtz backdrop. I love this writing one. I absolutely love it. And I don't really use the cigar box side. Well, very rarely. It's probably one of my least favourite backdrops that he does. I know other people love it, but it's my least favourite. So I get to use this one. Now, do I want it at the top or do I want it at the bottom? Let's do it at the bottom. Like so. And what I'm going to do, because I don't want to waste any Tim Holtz paper, I'm going to just mark. I'm going to come down a little bit. Just a little bit. and mark along here. And then I'm just going to do this off camera because I need to actually be able to see, guys. And then I'm going to rip that. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. Right, now these should, fingers crossed, let's hope, fit onto here. So let's ink around these. Let's get the ground espresso first and then move on to the black soot. So yeah, don't you just love it when you're like, okay, your brain's gone in a certain direction and you think, why not? And it forced me to open that die that I haven't even used, even though I brought it. And I know I brought it when it was on sale, but you know, it's a Tim Holtz die, so even on sale they can be a little bit pricey here in the UK. And it's just been sitting there unopened, which that is not good. So I got to use it and I ended up making 2 because I loved it so much, and I already know the other project that I'm going to use the other one on. But I'm thinking it's going to be one of those situations where I have to sit down for a couple of hours one day and just make a load of them up so that they're ready for projects. A bit like I do with my candle dies, because I know a load of you really love those candle dies, and they are discontinued as far as I know. So I know I keep having loads of you ask about them. But yeah, they are discontinued as far as I know. And I was selling packs of them pre-made. But at the moment, with the way all the postal changes are happening and the tariffs and things, it's just, I can't sell them internationally at the moment. So if you're here in the UK and still want some candle packs made up, contact me and I will do that. But again, they're quite time consuming making up the candle packs, so I tend to spend a few hours just cutting out a load and then making them all up at once. The problem with that is, because I then have them, I'm like, oh, I'll add them to this project and I'll add them to that project. And then I'll add them to this project. And it's just like, then you look around and go, oh, I've used them all up because I had them. So, but still nice getting them pre-made, just because, as I said, they're quite time consuming because there's so many little bits. I think there's 9 different bits or something to the candle dies, depending on how you make them. So, and this other piece that I made for this project, which I'll show you in a minute, had 11 pieces to it. So yes, now what I'm going to do, I think, firstly trim that. I don't know why that's not straight. It was so sunny yesterday, and today we have almost like storm weather. Okay, so that is straight, and I'm thinking I'm going to stitch across here, and I'm probably already going to go stitch around the whole of this tag. Okay, so I have stitched around there and down there. And now what I want to do is I want to use some inks on the paper. So we're going to do that. I was wondering about some stenciling, but I think we'll go for inks first, and then we'll see how I'm feeling. And let's grab some paper to do it on. Okay, so I have the vintage photo, so we're going to use that. It's the oxide. I'm going to use that first. And again, I just want to come on and kind of let it drip in places. I don't want it absolutely everywhere. This isn't going very well. Come on. And I think I'm going to come in at the bottom too and just do a little bit across there too. Okay. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of water and just get that to move a little bit. like it's running up and down the piece. And then, in fact, I think I want a little bit more just here. See, down the bottom it goes much grayer. Can you see that? Than it does at the top. Okay, so we've got that. So I'm going to dry that slightly. Okay, so that's dried. Bring that up so you can see. And then I'm going to come on with the Forest Moss Oxide spray and bring in a little bit of that green that I love. Just on the top here. Almost knocked it over. Did you see that? Oh my gosh, be so careful. Be so careful. And just a little bit across here too. Okay. A bit more here. Right, and let's spray this too. Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and a little bit here in places. Oh, do you see that? Now it looks really bright, but it won't end up that bright. I'm going to start drying it and dabbing some off. Okay, so there we go. Just makes it so grungy. If I get a piece of this paper next to it, you can see that that just... Now it's still a little bit damp. I've tried to dry it both ways, like from front and back. But there we go. And now I want to come in with the script stamp from Entomology. And I think I want to use it in my VersaFine Vintage Sepia. That's what I'm going to try and do. And just come in where I've done the inking. Like so. I just literally want it in the background. Like that. Okay, now we get to the decorating. I'm just going to move all my inks and we get to the decorating. So the die that I've been talking about is this one. This is one of the Thinlet Colorize by Sizzex, and this is called Skelly. Literally, that's the name, Skelly. 664746. Now I know there is another skull die set, and I think it was brought out after this one because, as I said, I don't know. Oh, it's 10 dies. I don't know if you can still get this. You might be able to. I just know I bought it last year when it was reduced. I love this one. I like the other one too, but I like this one. It's more open and stuff. Now, the Colorize dies, like I said, there's usually a lot of pieces to the die set. This one says 10, and then you have to build them up. So I had actually built myself one. I'll show you how I go about doing it, especially with a new one. I built myself pieces in white so that I could already just work out where everything goes and how it's going to look. So yes, 664746. And this just tickled me. I've actually got to find my skull now. This is how the skull looks. Again, I used some of my hand-dyed papers. I've had a lot of you ask about these. I don't actually have too much left because I've been using them up. But this is an example of one. Trying to find some others. This is the paper that I've been cutting pieces like this out of. There's another piece of that. And I thought I also had, I don't know, I can't see it right now, but I thought I also had a red one. But yeah, so these are my hand coloured papers. And lots of you have been asking about them. So I am going to do a video on them at some point soon. Super simple to do. I'm not an expert in them or anything. But this is our skull. I've used different areas of the hand-dyed paper because if I show you... Oh my goodness me. Sorry, I've just put them away. But if I show you, like there's different areas on the paper. So I've used darker and lighter pieces depending on where the piece, the die goes to. But the prompt literally said, I picked my jaw up off the floor. And I just felt like, you know, in a cartoon, we go, the eyes bug out or something in the cartoon when they're really shocked and the jaw drops. Well, I didn't have anything I could do that with, but I thought this quite... the jaw's all open. I was hoping I could do it in a way where it would actually move. And if I'd actually cut that piece and then had this piece with a brad, I could have done that. But I didn't. So... I think, I don't know, it just makes me laugh. I picked my jaw up off the floor. It makes me laugh. Okay, guys, it's just what it does. And I do have an eyeball die set that, thinking about it, I could have put eyeballs in this. But I didn't. It's okay. But what I do wonder is, I want to come on with just a little bit of... the Art Alchemy Vintage Gold gilding that I use. If you've been here any length of time, you will know this is one of my favourite gilding. It's almost dry. Some of you have given me tips on how to kind of make it easier to use again. But I just want to come in on some of the black bits and give a little bit of something. I just want to do that. So it makes me laugh. It's my sense of humour, okay? I pick my jaw up off the floor. I literally pick my jaw up off the floor. I'm going to go around the edge and a little bit of gilding too. It made me laugh. I don't know. So yes, I know there is another die out there. For those of you who think, oh my gosh, I would love that. There's another skull, large skull. That has been brought out. I hope you can just see. It's gilding all the way around now. Just a little bit. And I'm wondering about making the eyes glow in the dark. I'll think about that. And we're going to put the skull on. Now, I want him further up because I want the saying down the bottom that we've got to make. It's like, what? And if we put him this way, it looks like him. It's meant to be me. If we put the skull this way, it looks like they're looking upwards at the spirits, you know, at the floating scary spirits. It looks like this. Anyway, in my head, it does. Now, because I want it to pop a little bit off the tag, I'm actually going to use some 3D foam. I just want it to pop a little bit off the tag. Because that way, oh my goodness me, we can also put things behind and decorate. But yeah, so this is my, it made me laugh. I picked my jaw up off the, when I saw that prompt, I was like, how on earth am I supposed to do that? And at first I thought, maybe I'll take a photo of myself and I'll use the photo, you know, like the Scream painting. I was thinking of that, but I decided no. I thought, wait a minute, don't I have a die that could work? So yes, I will put the number of the die down below, and you may be able to find it. So the next thing I want to do is, I have some of my very tea-dyed and yet inked paper. I must have been playing, but it's got this beautiful grunge on it. And I was thinking, wouldn't this work really well as the piece of paper that we put, "Save us from this house, please set us free." Wouldn't it work well for that? Did I pick the least grungy part of it? Did I? Did I do that? So yes, I'm going to write on here. Again, I don't really like my handwriting, but I'm getting much better at adding it to projects. So, yay me, well done. And we're going to have this literally on here as if they're saying it. Now, I kind of want the edges curled up, maybe. Held under. I want it to have like a little bit of a thing to it. Let's just write on it, shall we? I could use stamps. I'm not going to. So save us from this house. I'm going to write it on there. You don't need to see me write it. Okay, so I wrote it. The ghosties need saving. They weren't trying to haunt me. Well, they still might have been. So I'm just going to ink all around this because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it yet. So I'm going to do this. I mean, okay, they need to be saved. But why send me? Why make me the inheritor? It reminds me of, there is a podcast that, funny enough, one of you guys told me about called Ache Willow. I'll leave the name of it down below. And the main character in that ends up inheriting this cafe. It's a paranormal mystery podcast. It's really good. And she ends up inheriting this cafe, but it turns out she wasn't the first person who was offered the cafe. Like, other people have turned it down, and I feel like that's maybe what's happened to this house. Maybe it wasn't meant to go to me. Maybe it was meant to go to someone else, but I was the person who was like, yeah, I'll take the house. And then I'm like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. So that's what it kind of gives me the vibes of, because I feel like they've probably been trapped for quite a while. So why, you know, because in my head, my ancestor was Victorian-esque, you know, that kind of late era. I don't know. I'm overthinking the story. That's what I'm doing, which is not a surprise. So I'm going to have that. I want this glued. This bit at least. Come on, stick down. Takes a while sometimes. I haven't glued this down yet, so that's good. Stick. I'm going to press it, and then I have to like squeeze it again to open it back up. I'm going to have it up a little bit and then glued kind of about here. Put some glue here, because I want it standing up a little bit. Give a bit of dimension on here. And then we're also going to roll this one up. No, a bit more dimension. A bit more. Yeah. And that's better. So there we go. And we're going to have this kind of up a bit too. Yep. I don't know. this one makes me chuckle because, like I said, it's a skeleton. And it just gives me cartoony vibes. Gives me the whole, you know, when a rabbit sees something with the eyes. You know, a bit like that. Anyway, maybe that's just me. Probably, guys. We all know I have a weird thought process. Thankfully, lots of you seem to like the fact that I have a weird thought process. So yeah, so we've got that. That's got to come in a little bit because it's too near that end. I want it coming in. And then we're going to put Skelly on here. Going, what? So let's put Skelly on there. Literally the name of the die. I mean, I don't normally get the Colorize dies, like I said, because they're just very time consuming. And I often don't have the patience for that. It's basically like putting a puzzle together. However, I have to say I'm really, really happy with how this one looks. Right, let's make sure it's all pressed down. Like so. So we have this right now, which I like. Okay. I am wondering about going around this a little bit. Like, I don't think I will. I was going to. We'll come back to it. We'll think about it. So, oh, do you know what I wanted to put on here and I completely forgot about? Of course you did, Belle. Why wouldn't you? I wanted to actually put some little labels. Well, good job that I made that so that it is raised up because I can add some little labels. I just wanted to add some interest behind. It doesn't necessarily fit with the prompt, but then again, it kind of does because, as I've said throughout, I did it the first thing as a Jekyll and Hyde type feel. So, you know, it would kind of work with pulling in. Why am I all the way up there? I'm getting further and further up the mat as I'm working. Oh, it's going to be one of those days I can feel. I can feel it in my bones. Sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I have a very strange sense of humour. I can feel it in my bones. Anywho, let's stop with that, Belle, shall we? And we're going to just add a few more. I'm just looking at things that I want to add. All different kinds of labels. We've got biological there. I wanted to be able to see the skull. Now, I probably could if I cut that a little bit. Do you know what? Let's start. Let's start, guys. I'm going to just start. Oh, no. Don't lose the labels. Don't lose them. And let's crush this a little bit. Like the spirits have crushed me. And now it turns out they're trapped in the house. And all they want, scaring me and haunting me and all that kind of stuff, sending scary things after me. And all they wanted was to be free. Well, do you know what I say to that? Why didn't you just ask beforehand? Like, instead of scaring me, why didn't you just... I'm going to leave that up a little bit, I think. Why didn't you just ask? It would have made this whole journey a lot easier, but a lot less interesting. Oh my gosh, what am I doing with the tag? A lot less interesting. Hey guys, we wouldn't have had 4 years of prompts if it had been that simple. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. But yeah. Yeah, you are going under here a little bit. Going under just a little. No, this was going over here, wasn't it? Yeah, because then we're going to put the other one on top of it. This might even be further up than it was. I'm okay with that. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. So, can't believe that we barely have any of October left. I mean, I just have not been able to do a lot of what I wanted to do. which makes me sad, but I'm just going to be thankful for what I have been able to do. And, you know, sometimes life's just like that. In fact, this whole year's been a bit like that. Oh, dear me. Right, yeah, I won't say in biological there. Dun, 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 dun. Very good. Right, let's have a look for any other little ones. Little ones. Just wondering about having it over here even. On there. Yeah, I definitely think we need something there. I don't know if that's what we need. Oh my goodness, this is when things take too long because I'm like, but what about this one? But what about this one? This one, I like this one. It's got blue and red on it. Oh, yeah. That's what it needed. See? I knew. Oh, yeah, I just want to bring in a little bit of decor because otherwise it would just be a skeleton with a word at the bottom or a sentence at the bottom. And, you know, it's nice to add a little bit more detail to that. Like so. Right, now I think that's all we needed those. I was thinking about having some down here. But I don't think we need any down there. Right, let's put these away before they all get lost. And by the way, those are mainly the curator labels by Tim Holtz. But there's also some other labels in there too. So we have that. Obviously, we haven't even brought in a... oh, just look at that. Doesn't that just add straight away? It just does. You know, it's not getting away from it. And I know we've inked everything and then we're covering a lot of it up. But the inking adds to the background. It really does. And we can still see some of that through... Where is my glue book? We can still see some of that through... the different pieces, not these obviously, but the other ones. This spider web, for instance, we'll still see some of the inking through. Okay, let's get my cloth. Now, before any of you say, I know many of you won't, but some of you might, that my cloths are often dirty. No, they're not. It's just that I use them with inks, and therefore the inks dye the cloth so that even when they're washed, there is still marks on them. And again, we're crafters, guys. That's just what a lot of our stuff looks like. If I worried that everything had to be pristine, I wouldn't craft. Ah, yes. Now that obviously glows in the dark. I say obviously because all the spiderwebby things have been obvious. I did want to add the word ghostly, but I don't think that's going to work if I'm honest. Yeah, I was looking at the word ghostly. It would work there, but is it too much? Let's ink it and see what we think, because sometimes that's the only way I can tell if something's going to work or not, if we've already inked it. Do you know, I kind of do like it without. I like it without too. I like it with. I like it without. I like it with. I like it without. I don't know. Let's leave that for the second. And that's okay to do that. Now, where are some spiders? Come to me, spiders. Where are you? Okay, maybe they're in the other tray. So let me grab the other tray. I didn't think they were in here. I thought I'd pulled them all out to use. Oh my gosh, if I used all the spiders. Wait a minute, there's one. It's not embossed. So there's that. I thought I'd embossed all the spiders. There's lots of bats and moths and bats and moths and bats and moths. Okay, let's move this to one side again and just do a final look through here because there might be one hiding. There's a large spider. Wait a minute. See, and it's embossed. I knew there must have been another spider. It's attached to the thread now. There's the big spider too. Wouldn't that be creepy? Imagine that. Sorry, for all you guys who really hate spiders, imagine that coming out of them. No, let's not do that. Let's not, and imagine that we did. I mean, we could have a spider coming down behind me rather than the word ghostly. We could have this. We could also just have the spider coming down here, like from there. Could have that and then still put the ghostly here. Ghostly. Maybe there's too much white. Maybe that's my problem. Like too much space on it. Maybe that's part of the issue. Do you know what, guys? I like it. I'm going to add it. I'm sorry if you guys don't, but I'm going to add it. So we're just going to do that. And I'm not going to worry too much. Ghostly. Whilst I'm like, screaming. Felt like I really want one. No. Oh gosh, what about down here? Oh, it looks like it's going into my mouth. I can't do that. I know I had one coming out. Like, it maybe if this was a different project, but as that's supposed to represent my own face, there's just no way. It would work creepily, perfectly, but there's no way, guys. That's a step too far, even for me, considering it's meant to be my face. Okay, and I think I'm going to come on with some splatters, but I think I'm going to come on with possibly some gold splatters and maybe a little bit of black. Let me grab them. Okay, guys, before we splatter, I just wanted to show you, I came in, I added this on top. It's a little bit of lace that I hand dyed with some inks, and I thought it worked quite well. It kind of gives me the feelings of a crown, like I'm wearing a crown on my head. And then I added just a little bit of stitching here and then some stitching down here. I just think it helps bring everything and pop. So that's what I did. Now we're going to do some splattering. The first thing I'm going to come on with is my black splatter. And then I have a decision to make. Because, guys, I don't know, firstly, where my fan brush is, but I don't know if I want to use gold or if I want to use red. So we're going to come on with a little bit of black first. Again, off to the side, because I literally just want a little bit of detail in here. We have a lot of writing, and I just want a little bit of detail. So that will do for that. And then, yeah, do I use the red or do I use the gold? I wish you guys were here to tell me. I feel like the gold will add a little pop of something, like the shine, because we've got the gold gilding anyway, and it will add to that. But then I feel like the red will bring in those little touch. I'm going to go red. I'm going to do it, and if I don't like it, I don't have to do it all over, and I can just, oh, so this is the Deep Red by Winsor Newton, the ink. Oh my goodness me, these are always so hard. This might have made my decision for me. Okay, so it did make its decision for me because I could not get the lid off, and as no one else is home, there's no one to help me get the lid off, so we're going gold. I do think the red might have looked a bit better, but we're going gold now, and that's that. Oh my gosh, it's going everywhere on me. My gold is a bit watery, so I'm really trying to blend it up. That's better. Right, that's much better. A little bit over there, but mainly over here. Okay, that will do. And then I am just going to dry that. So that's basically dry, guys. Let me bring that up so you can really see all the detail. And then if I just move it, I'm hoping you can pick up not only the gold on here, but also the gold gilding that I've used on the skull itself. Spiderweb and spider glow in the dark. It's lovely and grungy. Oh, I like it so much, and it does just make me chuckle. So let's go over this again. We've just punched in the sequence in the machine. Beep, boop, boop, beep, beep, boop, boop. And then, woo, from nowhere, 3 ghostly figures come through. It's my relative, my nemesis, who's the smiling man from the carnival, and the witch. They have a message for me. In haunting unison, they say, "Save us from this house. Please set us free." And prompt 20 was, I pick my jaw up off the floor. Sorry. It just really makes me chuckle. If you can't enjoy your crafting and laugh at your own jokes, then what's the point? I really love this one. I think it would work for any kind of gothic kind of journal. Without this, you could write something else on it, like Happy Halloween or something. And yeah, it made putting together all those 10 different pieces. Some of them, I need to point it out to you actually. You can barely see it, but there is the tiniest little one. Let me get that up. The tiniest little one just there. So ridiculously tiny, and I had to ink it and everything. It makes putting it together worth it. So they are days 19 and 20. I may be combining the next 2 prompts as well, but we're at that point in our story. So exciting times. We've got to set the spirits free. How are we going to do it? And after that, what's going to happen? Will I be able to inherit the house? No ghosts included. What are we going to do? So guys, please do like, subscribe, comment and share if you haven't already. Don't forget to check out April and Priscilla's channels down below. They are amazing, as I said. And check out my playlist of Oddtober if you've missed anything so far. Until next time, guys, wherever you are in the world, I hope you are having lots and lots of grungy, creepy, crafty fun. Bye for now.